to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Hi, Sadie.
Oh. Sorry, I'm late.
I think it's thought I said Sue. Minutes from April 21st, last meeting. I read them, I didn't see anything that one. Did you go through 'em?
Yes.
Did you go through 'em?
Yeah.
Would you like to?
Sure. Thanks.
Full size. We're not here long.
Oh.
Wasn't bad.
The only thing I really think that this is actually not Goma Valley Preservation. I don't know if it's a big deal, but it's their official name. Okay, so then do you want a motion so we can discuss?
Sure.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve.
Second. So Roger, we have one change on the minutes from last meeting. It's Mascoma Valley Preservation in the
7B.
TA report. Other than that, group, as written, with the change, I'm sorry,
So move.
all in favor?
Aye.
What are you laughing at me? So I'm gonna combine the purchase orders and the tax and water abatements on the agenda, just to do it all at once. So, we have a bunch of, abatements. 8 abatements for water for the continuing conversion from the old meters to the new meters. And Carolyn says that we probably can expect to see these part of the water bill that went out, that we can expect to see it for a couple more periods until everything gets switched over.
There's another 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, so I'm just gonna read off the names. Jack and Marilyn Page, for $59.95. Travis and Julie Bolton for $336.13. MTD, Properties for $1,574.32. Albert Lambert, for $3,276.43. The account number was rolling into the dollar amount, so I just want to make sure. Amber Fellows for $1,168.19. Chris Fortunato for $238.41. Dyer Properties on 3 accounts, one for $243.55, one for $209.39, one for $589.52. And final one is for Depot Street rentals for $3,096.35.
Jack, I'm sure I have this in my notes somewhere, but the larger amounts, like what's,
Well, Depot Street rentals, that's apartment buildings, that's why.
but so what's the discrepancy though? What?
Well, some of the meters were really appearing to record or staff wrote down volumes that were 5 and 10 times what they otherwise would be. And it's just inconceivable that some of these people, two people in a house or so forth, would use 5 to 10 times the amount of water. So
These are the new meters? Or-
no, it's the
Okay.
transition from the old, because remember, your earlier software and your materials were so out of date, they weren't even supported anymore. And it was a struggle to get accurate readings 3 years ago when I was here. So what we've tried to do is obviously facilitate the new meter installation. And then where there's problems, we just never resolve it. So we've taken 5 quarters as an average and tried try to come up with an equitable amount and then abate the other amount just to resolve and move forward.
I guess I'm just having difficulty understanding though, if it's an inconceivable amount, why just now?
Well,
Starting with
I
it.
can tell you that, so the Badger meters are the ones that had to be read, like somebody physically had to go there to read them. The Beacon meters, it's all on computers, so I can look at those in any given time, tell you exactly how much water is being used, and that's great. But for whatever reason, when the two bills are combined mid-quarter, they just don't, it just doesn't work. And I'm going to take some training with Beacon, but they've been very difficult to get a hold of. Avatar can't help me with them.
So it was the transition from the old to the new that created, it's
Yeah.
not like this has been ongoing forever with the old.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay,
But there have been problems for a couple of years with
Right.
a few of them.
Okay.
And we just needed to get them finished.
thank you.
It was another scenario where you really waited too long to take the step you've taken.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I know
Thanks,
there's a
Jack.
bunch of those
Appreciate
meters,
that.
they were paying estimated usage because the meters themselves had failed.
I have a question. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were waiting for me.
So I have a long electronics career and I don't know, sometimes it's the silliest things that get overseen, like making sure it's in gallons, not liters, and is there a calibration process that hasn't happened or something like that? So there's all kinds of reasons why electronics would give you a faulty number when they maybe were installed, but if they weren't.
It's not the electronics that's the problem, it's the physical reading of it.
Well, that's what I
And
mean.
getting the correct numbers. So all the new meters, nobody has to go out and read them. It's all done electronically and those have been working great.
Good.
But it's when you have the old meter and the new meter plugging in to get a bill. It's not working, but I've been dealing.
there might have been a couple
I
of
get that,
additions.
my point is that the new meter may not actually be reading.
No, the new meter is perfect.
We've
The old
examined
meter-
we've examined this for months and months,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
we've run down pretty much everything.
I'll stand down.
It's almost a full-time job.
Yeah.
I'll try not to ask next meeting.
No.
but I can't promise anything.
We'll get to the end of it.
I didn't hear my abatement on there. I don't know.
There's more down the line here, so I'm not sure.
I can sign and listen if you want.
All right, so we have a property tax abatement request from Ann for $145.67 for balance owed for the 2025 first half tax bill for 950 Goose Pond Road. Previous software system caused issues with online tax payments, creating misunderstandings of whether the tax payment went through or bounced.
Like was an error on our part.
On Ann's, yeah, on our part.
So was there water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yours was not included in that bundle. It's separate.
Don't want your pen to overheat.
Sorry, I'm good on that.
So then next thing we have is, from Ann also is the, second or first quarter or first half, tax warrant, for $7,409,750. Go out July 1st. Take a motion to approve that.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
a couple of properties change hands, so they need to get a final water bill reading. So that's just what this is. It's CBF Realty, sorry, for 510 Canaan Street. And another one for John Lyon, for, he doesn't have an address, but same thing for closing. Water bill request, water bill abatement request from Earl Smith from 19 Hill Court for $27.03. Check was never cashed from October, sitting on previous town administrator's desk for months. This needs to be settled, is the note.
So is accruing interest over there?
So,
Yeah.
We've all signed that already. Now we have Michelle Ballard. Michelle's here. So Michelle's requesting a water abatement for $281.90 for Q2 and Q3. No, Q3 and Q4.
It was, well, you guys combined Q3 and 4, so
Right,
it's
okay.
kind of that same bill,
Yeah.
but it's really during the summertime, because I have an outdoor water meter that I put in a few years ago and had been basically sending a photo of that, what it read, and then you guys read what you guys read, and we would take the difference, because that was all water usage, not sewage at all.
Yeah,
And all was good, and I submitted in November to Anne the same stuff I had been doing and didn't hear from her. And then I got a bill saying that I owed some money, and I asked her again about it, didn't hear anything. And then got a letter that so it's gonna be shut off. There was some interest accrued on it for 2 billing periods. But basically I had asked for an abatement of, I think it was 44,000 gallons.
$453.76 for dollars.
Yeah, but
1,880
Yeah.
gallons.
yes, for that. And then I basically used the sewage number. That's how I came up with the 400. And somehow she had submitted, I never submitted an abatement, but there was an abatement in March, I think. And it was for $170, but I had actually asked for the 450, so I'm not sure where the difference was.
Well, that would have come from John. So I'm not sure what this meter is here, this outside meter.
She has a pool,
I
and so
understand.
we've always abated the
Yeah.
sewer
But I
portion.
mean, this is a meter you had put in that you
Yeah.
paid for?
But you're only asking to abate the sewer portion, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So, I mean, personally, I think we should be doing the readings when you fill the pool
That'd be,
before and after. It
well, it's
shouldn't
not
be
just,
taken
for-
up,
I mean, I do water my plants and stuff out there. I have that meter is specifically on an outdoor spigot. And I had talked to Mike Sampson way back when I put it in about doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be happy to have you guys come and,
yeah, I don't like the idea of having separate meters and everything else and doing it this way. I just think it's wrong that, I mean, if I water my plants too, and I can't deduct that water. So, I mean, again, it becomes a slippery slope of what we're using water for, in my opinion. 41,000 gallons over the summer. I mean, generally the pool holds about 20,000 gallons. So, I mean,
mine's 20 by 40, so it does
Yeah.
have more.
I guess I'm not disputing the fact that we've let you fill your pool from the town water and, deducted the sewer cost from that. I'd like to talk to John and just find out I don't trust I'll say it out loud. I don't trust anything that Mike Sampson put together. So, so we've all gotten bit by that. So, I just don't understand the numbers. I know it's been very confusing with our delay on getting water bills out, Michelle. So
Yeah.
do you have any input? I mean, you've been dealing with all this. So.
I actually thought that John was gonna be here tonight.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the water used to fill the swimming pool, because that's an outside usage.
Yeah.
I have a problem as far as to try to abate anything for water in your garden, washing the car, any of that, because everybody on the water system has that opportunity and doesn't have separate, meters, if you see what I'm saying there. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
With the pool.
I think unfortunately though, if there was an agreement and we've been doing this, that my opinion, we would do it this time and say like, okay, let's find a different solution moving forward, but to just say we're changing this without notifying you, and that's my thought.
I had talked to John about, like, why is it hooked up to the sewer? Why does this 1 meter, why should it be hooked up to the sewer? I don't
Well, so
get
she,
that, or,
so she has 1 meter coming to the house as a town meter.
I get that.
And then we double it, right? So
Right.
we're saying whatever water you use for the other one, we don't double that, we just count it as just water.
Roughly, yeah. I mean, the sewer rates are slightly different than the water rate, but it's based on the same usage, so.
Yeah, and I use the sewer number.
Yeah.
there.
So in light of what Sadie's saying, I agree with that as well, but I think we gotta come up with a better way of doing it that
Yeah,
is,
I'd be happy
you
to
know,
discuss.
whether we, I mean, how often, I mean, you fill the pool at the beginning of the season and then it's just maintenance after that, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a leak somewhere in the pool, so sometimes I'm filling it every week, so I don't have a set time
right,
for it.
I'm gonna move to grant the abatement, we'll see what happens with my motion.
I'll second that, but I wanna come up with a better way that we're doing it, so.
Yeah,
Because it is gonna be a problem, especially with the new meters.
yeah, and I think it would be good to be in alignment with the homeowner, you know, and.
Right.
Yeah,
I have kind of a different policy decision about whether we ought to be using treated water in pools. I think it's a huge resource, and given the problems we're experiencing with the new water line and the inability to draw water, and the problems we had a while ago where we were running out of water because of a leak. I honestly get a little nervous when we're dumping that much water that we've spent a lot of money to produce. I'm always concerned about the resource, and I'm not suggesting you can change that now in terms of an ordinance or anything, but I do think it's a consideration to think about. Because water is not endless, and we do have problems with supply sometimes.
I did ask Mike Sampson when I first started, I said, well, can I put in a well instead and get off of the town water? And he said, no, there's an ordinance in place, you have to use the water. You have to go that route.
Right,
And then I was actually thinking, it's obviously another thing, but I know they were having problems with the town water supply, and I thought, well, maybe instead of spending all that money to do it every year, then you give something to a homeowner and they put in wells. I know some places you can't, obviously, but
Typically, what would happen is you buy the water and somebody brings it in a truck, and in my experience, the water tends to be cheaper per gallon.
yeah,
But again, every.
and then, yeah, when you fill it, like I had a new liner put in and I did have to fill the whole thing. And actually it was cheaper to go through the town water than to truck in the water for that. That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as to go with your concern, if we're having problems and we've got restaurant and the laundromat that are running on low pressure, it's, should we be taking water out for swimming pool?
I mean, you know, with 10 pools, you have 500,000 gallons. It's not
Yeah.
insignificant.
And I don't really know what, because the water bills were, you know, I was told a few times, well, wait till you get the act, because the bills were so late coming in. And so it's like, wait till the bill comes in. So I don't really know. I switched from doing it at, you know, for Q2 and Q3 to just doing it once a year to make it easy instead of asking for 2 abatements throughout the year. But yeah, I don't really know exactly.
yeah, I mean, I go back to when you're doing the main fill at the beginning of the season and you're filling up half your pool or whatever it is, you don't drain it in the winter, I don't think, do you, or do you? I don't know.
I drain it down some, but, I did actually just get a new cover too that, is the mesh kind, so it'll go through. So, I mean, I probably won't have to put
Right.
that much in there. But when I backwash it and have to then fill it after that.
Well, I mean, we approved it for now and we just read it.
Voted on
No,
it.
you haven't voted yet.
Got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
think we do need to revisit the because we have no knowledge of, she was given an agreement and somebody else given a different agreement.
No, that would never happen.
I'm trying to be polite.
So how should, like moving forward, how will we?
So we're gonna have to come up with a policy and move forward. So
Okay.
until we do that, it'll be, I guess, I'd like to get it down to 1/4. And I mean, with the new meter, it should be pretty easy also to see when you're filling, doing a big full, so.
But I don't know, Stephen, actually how that works. I don't,
All right, well, I guess we're gonna have to come up with a plan pretty quickly here, so.
Yeah, this news to me that she put in her own meter, because I'm saying,
Yeah.
we don't put meters on the outside, so I don't know. So that was interesting. I didn't know that before.
Thanks for
because it
showing.
does take some work to make this thing as far as the billing and stuff.
Right.
And this takes an enormous amount of time for me
To
to
do
do.
the change, you mean?
Yes.
Got it. Sorry, I'm just going through this right now, so. Okay, Roger.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please get the.
What's that?
Change, just the numbers weren't right. Dan here, Dan is requesting, block party for, like he's done the last 2 years, I believe. Not very much specifics here. I don't know if he's shared anything with you or you.
No, nothing.
Okay. Dave Jameson of Poorhouse Barbecue has run a block party Labor Day weekend, I believe, or the weekend before, so. I'm gonna table that until the next meeting. Get him to come. I know he's trying to line up police and emergency services and all that stuff, so.
Yeah, he has it scheduled for August 29th this year.
We need to discuss and vote on the location of the transfer station road bridge. There were alternatives that were presented back in January. We never actually voted on those, so there was one that we've reviewed for downstream, I believe.
Right, so as to the report that was the subject of that public meeting back then in that hearing, and was alternative 2B, the flood resilient off alignment replacement, which basically would be about 50 feet downstream and about 3 feet higher.
Right,
And
and that does not require changing the pressure line, or it does require?
we will coordinate on our own
Okay.
the replacement of the water line.
Section line there. Okay.
Yeah, of that line. And we have some of the federal money that we have yet to access, but we still will.
Right,
It will be used to pay for that.
okay.
The dimensions they gave, the 50-foot, puts it downstream far enough. I mean, we need to coordinate moving that, but it will not interfere with actual start of construction if it's not moved beforehand. That puts you out below the line far enough.
And it allows the existing bridge to remain open.
Yes.
And we don't have to build a temporary.
I move to accept Claim
Alternative two B.
2B.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We need to, it's a water. We have a memo for a 5-year, or let's restart the 2024 public discussion regarding the upcoming water rate increases, which got put on hold because of a changeover in equipment. So you want to take that on, Jack?
Sure. What we had talked about 3 years ago was, we spent a lot of time analyzing the demand and the flow and the capacity and the projects that we've got involved in terms of replacing the mains, getting rid of the lead, getting rid of the galvanized metal, working with the service boxes, what do you call them?
Meters.
No, it's in the ground there.
The gate valve
Gate valve, yeah.
and the service connection.
Yeah. And we really, we should have actually done this, because we're borrowing $1.8 million, and you're gonna have to repay that, and you don't get enough money out of the piece right now to actually pay those loans. So the goal 2 years ago was to start that increase and take 4 or 5 years to do it. So that gradually you're not shocking people. They can see it coming, and we can raise enough money to service basically the $1.8 million debt over the coming years. They're low interest revolving loan funds, so they're less than 3% interest, but we still borrow the money. You've had 2 warrant articles for about $500,000 each.
Right.
In addition to the $1.47 million grant that you got to match 20% of. So we need to raise that money. We just have to. So this takes that schedule from 2024 and basically just advances it. I've not changed the numbers. It will increase and raise. That'll increase the revenue over that period of time by about $900,000, which should be adequate to cover it. Now, this is not something you're going to decide tonight. What I'd like to do is to keep this on the agenda and bring it up as many times as possible and have a public hearing on it and that sort of thing. I want to be sure that we spend enough time to educate people about where the water rates are going to go from now until 2030 so that they can appreciate it. Just for an example, because not everybody can see it, the base rate would go from $56 to $60 at the first year. And the unit rate, the price per gallon, it would go up a little bit from 0.0112 cents per gallon to 0.0175, goes up a little bit. So gradually, you want to increase over a 5-year period the price per gallon of water. You want to gradually increase the base price. So the base price in year 2 would go from $60 to $70 per quarter.
You got a typo there. 0.175, it's 0.017.
Oh, yeah, no, there should definitely be a 0.
It says maintain.
Yeah, it's not going to go up that much. And so forth. So year 3, it goes up another $5 a quarter. Year 4 goes up another $5 a quarter. And year 5, it goes up another $5 a quarter. So gradually, the idea is you have no choice but to raise the money because you borrow the money. But we want to take 5 years to get us there in a reasonable period of time. So my goal is we'll put this on a website, put it in a newsletter or whatever. Keep it on the agenda, give it some airtime to try to let as many people as possible know. And
I also think it's important we have some of the cheapest rates in the state.
Yes.
DRA has been after us to raise the rates for a long time. More than the last 2 years.
yeah, because part of these rates also connect to the amount of, I'll say, forgiveness on the water loan. So you borrowed money from the state, but at your current rate, the loan forgiveness is only about 50% because the water's so cheap, it's not a burden, right? If you will. And so these rates not only allow you to pay the debt, but they get you to a level where the forgiveness as to the portion of the money you borrowed approaches more like 100%.
Yeah, cause I know John had told us our rates are so low, we could not even qualify for some of that money.
Right. So you've never collected enough money. The water fund has been in a deficit position for quite a few years.
2001, I believe, it has been,
Yeah.
we're living off its savings.
Well, you're really subsidizing it through the general fund. And as an enterprise fund, that has to stop. For at least a decade or more, you've been advancing these warrant articles about water rates, and every warrant article said it was paid by the users. Not true, because it's been subsidized by the general fund because you're not collecting enough. So this is intended really to collect and put the water enterprise fund on solid grounds. In addition, it adds $30,000 a year for everybody in town for fire suppression purposes, because you've got 26 hydrants out there. That water, somebody has to pay for it, and it's paid for by the people who live here, who might have a house fire where the water would be used to put out that fire. And so we're a customer, right? And so we'll be paying $30,000 a year.
Yeah, cause for years, we were not a customer, they were just there for
Right.
taking.
So this is what's intended to kind of bring it back into balance, have the sort of prices that you need to have under the statute to have an enterprise fund and to pay for the money you borrowed. Again, we'll talk about this again, and we'll just give it some closure so people can appreciate it.
It's just super frustrating. I know this isn't helpful, but we've known this for years, but Mike Sampson insisted that that's not the case. No money came from the general fund. We asked at the budget committee to increase rates for years and years and years. So again, not helpful, but frustrating.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack.
Now we can fix it.
Yeah.
Can I have a copy of that, John?
Well, I gotta fix the type around. I'll get it to you.
Okay, appreciate that.
So we should figure out a way to put it on in a newsletter fairly frequently. Some
Yeah, and then July 1st is coming up quick, so.
something like that. Well, and again, the dates that I put in there, I may push it out another quarter. Again, just to start that transition a little more gently, because I realize that it is a change. But again, conceptually, I wanted to definitely start talking about it tonight.
Thank you. Transfer station operations.
I have drafted and I've begun communications with Waste Management and Casella to get a proposal from them to take over the management of the transfer station. The transfer station, in my view, is a mess.
Yep.
The equipment is terrible. We've been virtually thrown out of Lebanon because of the equipment and the mix and the management of the trash and so forth. It is virtually a free-for-all. I don't think the permit structure works very well. I think people are bringing all sorts of trash from all over the place. We just don't do it well. And we haven't done it well for quite a few years. And so I want to try to find a better way to do it. That's what I'm looking for. And we would probably still staff it in terms of the attendance that would do it, but they have to have a better system than the way we're doing it now, because it's just not well structured.
I would agree.
They started the business with worn out equipment.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah.
I see that.
When you go out and buy from a town who's put a trailer up for sale because it's met its useful lifespan, but it's a good buy, so we buy it, there's a problem there.
Yeah, because you couldn't get it on the road because it wouldn't pass inspection.
Have they been receptive so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a good conversation with Casella.
Yeah.
I've had a very prompt response from Waste Management. I think I have a Zoom meeting with them tomorrow to get a little more details.
Where are they out of?
Waste Management's got a yard over Plymouth Way.
Yeah, they have a yard, but their office is somewhere else. I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah, cause they're national.
yeah, they have a regional headquarters. I just can't remember where they are. They're on the internet, so they're everywhere.
They were at one point, I don't know if they still are, they were the largest trash handling company in the country.
I think they might be, yeah, I think they are.
Probably super preliminary, but so let's say this comes to fruition, because I've wanted this for a long time too, and we're still providing the people power.
Yep.
And there's a way to do it, and the people decide we're not gonna do it this way. Where's the accountability? Is that still with whoever is our town administrator at that time, or does it go with whoever's actually managing the operations of it? But I could just,
I can only say I cannot conceive that we would put people on the payroll and give them a job and they would say, I don't want to do it that, because I'll get different people.
Yeah.
I think Sadie's asking, is it, that they're still town employees, they'd still be town employees.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if Waste Management put people here, they gotta mark it up
Yeah.
and all those other things, and I don't think that's economically viable. I mean, I think I want their technical advice, I want their equipment, I want them to make recommendations on the movement of the trash,
Right.
the cost and all of that sort of stuff, and just the management of it, so you get better use out of the scrap steel and better productivity out of the recyclables and that sort of thing. And more responsible transport of the MSW, municipal solid waste. But if we get a decent ticket type system or punch card type system in, then it's just, you get your card, you punch it, you get it back and they come in. Again, I'm not gonna predict what the actual admission system is gonna look like. But there are easier ways to do it, I think.
So there's two, I mean, they're the two biggest. If you're doing an RFP, are you gonna make it available to anybody else too, or?
I will
Actually
post it
step up and-
publicly and see who responds.
Yeah.
I can reach out to these two because they're in the
Right.
region. I don't.
But I mean,
know
there's
of
some
any
smaller,
others,
smaller trash haulers that, I mean, I don't think they're capable of taking it on, but they may be interested in trying.
I know of several companies that were capable, but Casella in the last 2 years has bought them.
and I think when we started to explore this a couple of years ago, we had some local people who just kind of said like, no, this is too big, because this is something that we have, or at least I have asked town administrators for 3 years to just
Yep.
look at as
Oh,
an
good.
option.
Yeah, good. So we'll look at it.
Okay.
But I'll double check just to see how widely I should put it out there and just see who responds.
There's the camp services out of Claremont, they're starting to get bigger.
I'm sorry.
The camp,
They can't.
Look at that, sure.
Yeah, there's some others out there. The thing that you have that for them at times, depending on, there's a thing called flow control and tonnage. That if you have a contract and your contract with Lebanon, then it falls under a different set of regulations and stuff. So this all has to be handled. They have to know what they can do, because some of your companies, their contract won't allow them to take that much tonnage into Lebanon landfill.
I'm sure there'll be quite a few details.
Yes.
To work through.
Yeah, it's not just you do it.
Right.
Excellent, thank you. And then looking to put, a single entity as our engineering services for an RFQ process.
Yeah, we
We
basically, it's very common for a municipality to just go out for an RFP for all in engineering and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
For some reason or other, we split the house, we've got two.
Right,
And I don't know why, I don't know what the history is, but sometimes it's not bad to kind of dust off the people you're working with and get their
shake them up a
attention.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there are economies of scale and efficiencies and
I do know a couple of projects I had worked on. There was federal money in. We had to put out to bid for the engineering firm.
Right.
And then we had to work with whoever got the bid.
And that is still there.
Yeah.
But the bid structure is mostly qualifications based. And so they
Mhm.
make you go through the process But more often than not, you wind up with the same qualified people that you were using. They make you go through this review.
Yeah, because they just have to meet the qualifications for the project that you're,
Right.
Let's just spend more money not on the actual project, just waste it before you get that point.
Right.
yeah.
Just a little, regulation.
Yeah. A little, hand washing.
Moving on, we will have 3 new cameras at the transfer station, one at the gate,
Yep.
one at the attendance station, and one, I think, on the treatment.
Up in the treatment plant?
Yeah.
Okay.
treatment plant.
Great.
Um,
Do we have Wi-Fi all the way out at the gate?
One of them, because of the distance, will be cellular,
Oh, okay.
but it's not expensive.
Okay.
It'll allow us to log in and see them. It'll record some number of days before it starts recording over itself.
Okay.
And so I think that will be probably helpful
Yep.
for the instances where we've had people.
Mhm.
Illegally dumping.
Making assumptions it's open because the gate's open for the highway department.
Is Lakes Region putting that together? Or?
Yes.
Now, are they gonna be on full time or motion
All the
activated?
time.
Yeah, digital. So,
And they'll be solar powered.
great. Oh, even better.
So go in at night?
Well, it's not quite that ball. They'll have a battery.
And we're gonna vote on whether Mr. Jack can vote on the Redentis, sewage treatment plant, contract, engineering contract.
Yes, I'd like to kind of set the stage to the extent as possible. I'm still waiting on some information from DES in terms of funding for this. Now, this involves the replacement, basically,
Yeah.
of the sewer pumping station on Depot Street, which has been breaking since 2017.
Right.
And causing black water to back up down in some of the houses. So we've just spent some money repairing somebody's house down there and putting in an alarm
Has
system.
that work been done and finished correctly?
Almost. Almost.
What's
Still
the
waiting for
holdup?
the still waiting for the red light on the side of the house.
For the equipment or? to be
You know, the
installed?
equipment's installed.
Wait for the electrician.
I'm literally waiting for the light,
Oh.
which would flash or
Yep.
or strobe when there's detection of the sewage or the black water flowing in the wrong direction.
All right.
Okay.
We can do
Who's-
that, just shut the
Who's
pump off.
responsible for that? Yeah.
So, we might, there's 2 things I like to get this resolved this year.
Yep.
I can get the engineering done to DES standards in about 60 days, according to engineers. I'm trying to take advantage of the opportunity that the governor's office has, since they're looking at this because they're not happy.
Yeah.
It is $175,000, which actually is really not a bad price, given that
Every meeting's gone up like 60 grand though.
well,
It's
20,
30 grand.
yeah, it started out at 150, but then the engineering fees, which were required,
Yeah.
added another 25,000. DES required them.
Yeah.
They need stamped, plans. If I can get state emergency funds, then that might offset some of that cost. If I look for a state revolving loan fund, which typically or frequently would be for this purpose, I have to put an application in and I have to wait for it to get approved later in the year, and I wouldn't be able to do the project till next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if DES is gonna let us wait that long.
Well, I don't think we can.
On the other hand, I'm sensitive to, I'd like somebody to try to help pay for this $175,000.
Will they do it in retrospect?
No, that was.
That was a firm no.
Yeah, I've heard that from 2 people. So I'm still waiting to see if there's any, what I'll call emergency funds at the state level that they could just provide us under some arrangement. And I just don't have an answer for that. But to the extent that we can get this going, I was looking for an authorization from the board to allow the town administrator to sign the contract for Dentist for the engineering work related to the Depot Street pumping station. And then related to that, because the equipment is pretty specialized, the engineers will design it to the equipment that we've spec'd out, right?
Yes,
I'd like to waive any bidding for the equipment, since the equipment's gonna be designed.
it's specialized, gonna be built to design.
And legally, there's no problem with that. I ran this whole scenario by town council, and they said, well, there's no statutory reason to prevent you from doing that. And you've got the standard policy reasons for waiving bidding because of the speciality and the timing and the emergency nature of it. So if everything else lines up, I'd love to be able to get this thing done this year.
And so when Chet was here, his two things were option, they were like stopgap things, short-term fixes. Is this a fix?
This is a virtual replacement of the cap of the
That was my understanding, but
new containment, new electrical, two new sump type pumps rather than suction pumps. Right now, we've got these huge pumps that try to
Yeah.
pull everything up and then push it all the way down the street around the corner. And these would push it, and they'd be redundant, so they back each other up. New controls that would alert us when one or the other didn't work. We don't have that now. We don't know it doesn't work until
still backs up into the first.
Until we get a phone call from Route 4.
I mean, I hate to say 175,000 a bargain, but I mean, I know the original estimate was about 500,000, so.
I was gonna say the first quote we got was, that John got was over 300,000 just for equipment.
this is a little more surgical because we're leaving the 40 feet or 14 feet,
Yeah.
whatever it is, those, the concrete containers into which the black water flows.
Yeah, leaving the wet well itself, the
Yeah.
structure.
We just replace the rusty metal top. The floor of it's rusting anyway. The electric stuff is all in there and it's corroded to be the band. It's over 30 years old, almost 40 years old, I think. It should have been replaced a while ago, but
Yeah, I would rather just completely replace it. I'm not interested in putting a Band-Aid on it and then trying to fix it again in a
Right.
couple of years. And the price is never going to go down,
No.
so.
Yeah, because I know the original estimate was to replace the electronics to get them running right. And then in a year or so, replace the pumps. But now you've got that mobilization cost of them coming, that's going to make it much more expensive than just doing it all at
Right.
once.
this is a nice package. It's a good system and I've seen it elsewhere. I've talked to more than one person, more than one wastewater engineer on it. And the other thing it allows us to do is, and I'll probably next meeting, I'll have a grant to help that, is we have an emergency generator there. Hasn't worked in years. And so if there's no power, there's no pumping.
Yeah.
It is a huge generator because the pumps currently in place draw a lot of power. I bet the power consumption on the new system will be a third of what you're spending now.
Wow.
They're just so much more efficient and we'll actually end up with an emergency generator that's connected
And
and works.
smaller, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
yeah.
because these are all VFDs and there's supposed to be VFDs on it, but if you don't have any power going, that can't work either.
And if the emergency generator's not hooked up or work. or-
That,
Well, when I was here 3 years ago, one of the plans was to inventory all of the ones you've got, put them under a maintenance contract and actually have somebody look at them periodically. Apparently that never happened. So none of your emergency generators actually get regular maintenance. As I sit here today, can I tell you which ones work and which ones don't? I can't tell you that. I don't know. I still think. it's a
back when
good
this
plan.
system was done, it was very common occurrence. Those generators, a lot were military surplus that had extremely low hours. So they would buy them cheap and save and put them in cheap, but if you don't maintain them, it doesn't matter how cheap you got them for.
I'm gonna make a motion that we, allow Jack to sign that as it comes due and, move forward, so we don't lose any.
I'll
So I'll
second.
be authorized to sign the Renantis contract, scope of services for the engineering.
That is correct. You want me to actually say it out loud?
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, no, Roger can. Sorry, you don't have to. And are you comfortable with then a second motion to waive the bidding?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Because we've only got one or two suppliers of that specialized equipment.
Right,
And
if I get a
everybody that's
different-
gonna give you a bid is getting it from there.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The only thing you might wanna back in their design, one of the problems that caused the premature failure of some of that, they never put the ambulance bars in the bottom of the well.
Well, that's true. They either didn't put them in or they wore out because
They never put them in
They never
because,
put in.
it's down toward Warner, same company did that and did the same thing. Never installed them.
The legacy of poor work.
Lack of oversight.
Yeah, Bob.
I think you have to vote twice because there was two motions.
Okay. So the second one would be to vote on, allowing Jack to, waive the bidding part, allow us to waive the bidding process for the equipment. So all in favor?
Like,
Aye. Thanks, Bob. So earlier this year, we met with the Grafton, Select Board and discussed, EMS coverage for ambulance coverage for Grafton, because we've been covering them anyways, costing us roughly $175,000 a year, with really no payback. We came into an agreement or worked out an agreement on paper, a draft to start to take over their EMS services, and get paid for it, to get reimbursed for it. So the first year, I didn't want to bankrupt Grafton. The agreement was to get $50,000 from Grafton, in quarterly payments, broken up into quarterly payments. And we finally got the agreement back from the legal department, do that for this year. So we need to just sign off on it.
Was there a memorandum of understanding though that to look at combining into a regional? Is that-
That's not in this agreement. And I talking to Jack earlier tonight. I don't
I
know
can
if it
follow
was the first year or not. So,
It was by April to have a memorandum of understanding when
Yes.
we sign this.
it was supposed to be stated in this year's contract.
Yeah,
I thought there was, but I wasn't. I don't want to pass on this, but I also want to make sure we're getting longer term goals here.
Yeah, if you're comfortable signing it today, you don't have to. I can just hold it and escrow until we get the rest of the questions answered. Because I'll have to catch up on that history.
yeah, so the contract was to provide services for 2026 for 50,000 with a memorandum of understanding for a merger in place by end of April. We were supposed to sign the third Tuesday of February and they were supposed to sign it the same night. But then I think it came back that we both had the same,
Yes, same legal firm.
yeah, because on 2/17, we signed the conflict of interest form.
Yeah, and literally 2 weeks ago, whenever I sent it to you, that was when I got it back. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
where is this guy? I don't even know where it is.
So we can't sign this now? Or, I mean,
But we can hold. Let me get the rest of it. I
Yeah.
don't want to get out ahead of it, but
okay.
If we don't sign it, they might be able to just add a couple paragraphs.
I don't want to lose.
well, if there's supposed to be a separate memorandum of agreement, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So,
That was, our meeting was January 27th. I don't know if you have to look up in this or anything.
Detailed notes
I
here.
don't know why I put them in two different notebooks though. It's really not convenient, but.
I think one is bank, one is town.
No, these are both town. They're just randomly, I switched from one to the other.
So, keep you around for that. Anything else, Jack? No, okay. Just, we had, at the last meeting, I believe, Sal had brought up, openings on 2 committees for town appointments. One was for, the bus service, I can't think of what the. Advanced transit. And we put it out in the newsletter, for people to come forward. We had one person come forward, which is Tim Josephson, who'd like to be appointed for that. As a resident of Chicago, this was regularly this year, so we just have to either vote on that and it'll go to, Upper Valley Transport. And they actually have the final say there. So, the other committee was for Upper Valley, Lake Sunapee Regional, and Planning Board is meeting with a couple, voting on that. They have the, first right to appoint, and then the select board can, approve. So, I think John, in his notes for this week is, or no, I think we're doing it on May 14th, the May 14th planning board meeting. So hopefully we'll get people on both committees, which would be good. They've had openings for town residents for a while. Just give us a voice on those. So anyways,
Did Jack say that there was someone else that was interested though?
yeah, but he backed out.
There was,
Okay.
he waved it off.
No. Had too much on his plate, so I don't think we had anybody else that was interested.
Not that I'm aware of.
So we just need a motion on that.
I'll move to accept Josephine.
Yeah, he's great. He's involved in a ton of things.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anything from outside here? Open? No? Great,
I have something.
okay.
Is it time for other?
Well, Tim was under other thoughts, so,
Oh, okay.
Did you?
what is that?
The,
Old Home Day.
Committee.
No, I got under my agenda here, so.
Okay.
Just off of that.
Yeah. So we got a letter from, the Old Home Day, committee, asking for approval to start prepping for the 44th year of celebration for the weekend of July 31st to August 2nd, not 12th. And just want to make sure that they have permission for the following, areas in town to use, Williamsfield, Town Common, the tent as always on, Williamsfield, not to include stakes, but weights, and lining of the parking field for various functions, so. They want to have, the dance on August 2nd, Saturday, August 1st. Are you gonna come to us with a separate, oh, no, it's here. So they're asking for a waiver for open container for that, Saturday night dance as well. And anything else special?
The only conflict is we already signed for the, farmer's market to includes that Sunday on the common
Yeah.
under their date. So I mean, they usually use it, have crash fair. So it'd just be a matter of,
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we gotta come up with. Williams, the Old Home Days has been going around for a lot longer than, Craft Market. And I guess we didn't realize that every Sunday would be a conflict. What have they done in past years? Do you know, Bob? Or, I mean,
We've had the craft fair. I think they've sometimes gone up to your farm.
yeah, well, the last 2 years we did the market at the farm. But they wanted to take advantage of Old Home Days weekend this year. And that's why they included in down on the common this, like they are every Sunday.
The craft fair has been, but my mother started the crafts fair, and that started in like the late 70s. There was usually one at Christmas, where the library is now inside the old community center. And then there was one during the summer, like 1973, 74, something like that was the first crafts fair. But I don't think Old Home Day came along until the early 80s.
Yeah, that early 80s.
The craft fair has been going.
Old Home Days started after Canaan Fair closed.
Yeah, I remember Catherine Carlson helped get that started, but I know the craft fair has been going on longer than Old Home Day.
yeah.
And the farmers
Could they
market.
possibly do it at the school?
So I mean, they could, I guess because we've already promised the Sundays to the farmer's market that I'd like to get them, can we reach out to them for the next meeting and have them come in maybe? Can we resolve it earlier than waiting until the last
Yeah.
minute?
Well, like I said, I sent an email to the people running the farmer's market and asked them if we could put them in another place. And I said, go ahead and go back up to the farm. We'll put you in the bulletin. We'll advertise you're there. We want to celebrate you as Canaan as well, but we just didn't want to do it at the cost of the crafters. When did they put in the request for this Sunday?
Couple of months ago
Yeah.
for
It's
the
not for
summer,
that specific, for summer.
Yeah, I know, but-
yeah, for all their summer dates, for every Sunday.
So there's other space. Go ahead, Ellie.
You have another common up on Canaan Street. Could you use that for either one of them?
So, yeah, I mean, there are other options in town.
The crafters will be set up on Saturday. It's unrealistic to ask them to tear down and move for Sunday, so we'd have to move the market on Sunday.
Well, we don't have to do that.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
we
if
have
you were
to.
going to, if
Yeah.
you're going to entertain that idea, it wouldn't be realistic to ask someone to set up, tear down and move. So someone else could just set up. It doesn't make.
But it might be nice to do it up at the old meeting house.
Yeah. 'cause
You
you got
know,
parking
It's
at
such a
50 feet.
beautiful area.
They are in the process trying to get things set up for activities at the meeting house for Old Home Days for the 250th anniversary to coincide with Old Home Days.
Well, I just mean that there's an awful.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's going to be more attractions up there should be as well.
Which actually might help out the farmer's market up there
Yeah.
or the crafters up there, so.
But centrally located.
All right, so can, I don't even know who runs the farmer's market, you do. but-
I do.
Can we see if we can get them in Old Home Days here at the next select board meeting and maybe hash it out a little bit
Yeah.
and see if we can come up with some, and come with ideas, not just come with.
Yep.
This is what I want. So, all right, thank you. John, anything else? You had something, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Alice Ely from the Public Health Council reached out again. I think we talked about this maybe a month or so ago. They had put forth a warrant article, petition warrant article that didn't make it. And so I think we had talked about, where do we grab that money from? But I think also
Right.
she's hoping to have a communication. I know you've been a little busy, Jack.
No, sorry, I did forget about it. It was like 2,000.
Let me see.
175,000. Oh, yeah.
And I think that we had copies of it. Yeah, of course, it's not gonna pop up
They were
now.
dated copies we had.
Right, and I don't know that we ever determined where the breakdown was.
Well, I did see a copy of what they left in, and somebody had written the date on which they handed it in to the town clerk, so I believe her when she says she actually handed it in, it just never made it through the queue.
I
So,
believe it was less than 2,500. I'm not seeing the attachment right now. Yeah, so I think we had, right here, we had discussed in one meeting, like, hey, we don't actually have a line item for this now because
Right.
it wasn't put in, but how we would honor that since we failed.
And I do remember, I just started a conversation where we'd find it within the budget, wherever appropriate for the line item. I'll have to just
2910. So it was under 3,000, 2,910.
$1,910.
They've got an administrative fee on it.
Yeah, let me,
Anything? Make a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
We don't need it on public. Oops.
Maybe we could have one just for you.
Hope I don't have anything.